Hi everybody, this is Kefren, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm going to show you how to boost your FPS in PUBG, the 2022 version. So we're going to start with Windows, and after that we will go inside of the game. So the first thing that you need to write is game mode. Open your game mode and make sure that game mode is at on. In my previous guide on PUBG, I was telling you guys to not using it, but for the past 8 months now, game mode is really good. So I recommend to activate it. After that, for the Xbox game bar, really important to deactivate it. They don't use overlays like Discord, Nvidia, AMD, those overlays that you can record your 30-second last of gameplay. It's causing a lot of issue with PUBG, so I don't recommend to use that. For the capture, also I recommend to put background recording at off and recorded audio at off. I also recommend to search for graphics setting in your search bar. You will need an Nvidia card 1000 series or more recent, and activate the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Put this one at on. For a card like the 1050, 1050 Ti, 1060, 2060, you can expect a nice 3% boost in your FPS. It really helps with bottleneck. And for the rest, all the other cards, I didn't see any difference. So this is pretty much it for that. I also recommend to update your driver. So Radeon software, Nvidia, even Intel, if you're using the iGPU on your CPU, go on the Intel website, download the latest version of their driver. Another thing that I recommend is write energy. Go to your power plan, power option, and make sure that you're running balance or high performance. I know a couple of laptops, when you plug in the wall and unplug, sometimes they stay at power saver and it's causing issue for your performance. So definitely go with balance or high performance. So this is pretty much it for those parameters. I also have a guide on my channel to how to overclock your GPU and CPU. It can help you 3 to like 15% boost in your FPS. It really depends on your component, thermals, and stuff like that. Definitely check it out. And one more thing is the disable full screen optimization. First of all, I want to say the set launch option now are not working on PUBG, so you can't like force it to run it in DirectX 10 and stuff like that. But go to properties, go to local file, click browse. After that, write .exe, search for it. Look at the exec PUBG here, right click on it, properties, go to compatibility. Make sure that you're running disable full screen optimization here. And after that, click change IDPI setting and make sure that override IDPI scaling behavior here is checked. Press OK, OK. And now you're good to go. So now let's open the game and we're gonna tweak it with the graphic parameter inside of the game. So now the graphic parameter, let's go to settings and in the section graphic. First of all, if you're using the Nvidia Lite auto capture, I really recommend to disable this. It helps with stuttering. If you have stuttering issues, sometimes it's because of that. After that, display mode, really important to use full screen. I'm getting FPS drop in window and borderless, so super important to use full screen. Resolution, use your native. So for me, it's 2K, but if you have a 1080p monitor, go with 1080p. Don't lower your resolution to have like more FPS. Just play native. It will help a lot with your visibility. Lobby FPS cap, I just lock it at 60 because I don't need more and I don't want like to generate more heat in my computer. After that, in-game FPS cap, I'm capping it at 168 because I want to stay in my FreeSync range. My monitor is a 170Hz monitor, so I'm just skipping 2 frames over here to make sure that I always be in my range. So it really depends. Do you want to stay in your FreeSync range? Do you have problem with thermal in your computer? Sometimes it's good to just lock your FPS because you don't want to generate too much FPS. If, for example, you have a laptop, you just have a 60Hz screen, don't generate like 110 FPS and have a lot of issue with stuttering because your computer is throttling. So just lock your FPS with the amount of hertz that you have, or a little bit more if you want to reduce a little bit your input lag. Brightness, stay at 50. Universal brightness for all map, I just put enable. So now the render scale. So if you want to lower kind of your resolution, this is pretty much the downscale option here. You can go to 90. After that, honestly, your image will be blurry and it will not be great. I really recommend to just stay at 100 and just change other parameter, but this is more like a last resort thing. You're struggling with your FPS, you can definitely go to 90. For the FOV, I'm playing at 103, but again, it really depends on your computer. An high FOV, you will lose FPS. So if you have like an entry-level computer or mid-range, go with something like 90. It will help you with your FPS. For anti-aliasing, I'm using very low. You can expect a nice 8% boost in your FPS at very low. And I don't like the anti-aliasing in this game. I feel like everything is blurry. It's not very good for visibility. So that's why I'm using it at very low. Post-processing, pretty much the same thing. You can expect a nice 4% boost at very low, and it will help you with visibility. For shadow, I recommend very low. You can expect a nice 12% boost in your FPS. This is the most important parameter in this game. So ultra versus very low, 12% boost. Super important to do that. After that, for texture, I recommend, it really depends on the VRAM that you have. For me, I can do ultra easily. If you have 6 gig and more of VRAM, go with ultra. 4 gig high, 3 gig medium, 2 gig low, and less than 2 gig, go with very low. For the effect, I recommend very low also. You can expect a nice like 3 to 4% boost, but it's more like to stabilize your FPS when you're fighting. So when you're shooting, explosion, and stuff like that, if you're getting some random drop, 20, 30 FPS, it's probably because your effects are high. So at very low, everything will be very smooth. Foliage, at very low, you can expect a nice 8% boost in your FPS and also a nice improvement with visibility when you have trees and stuff like that. It's more easy to see enemies with very low. For the view distance, this one, it takes a lot of resources. I like to play at high. Normally, I play at high, but it will really depend on your computer. If you have an entry-level computer or an old mid-range, go with low. If you have like a decent computer, you can definitely go with medium. And if you have a good computer, go with high or even very high. But the view distance, higher it is, higher you will see like further in front of you. So and it takes a lot of resources. Low, it's very low, it's pretty bad. Honestly, I did a test, you don't see very far in front of you. So try to go with low even if you have an entry-level computer. For sharpen, I'm using disable. I don't like the sharpening option in this game. It add like too much noise in the image, so that's why I'm going with disable. I don't use VSync because, like I said, my monitor is a FreeSync monitor. If you don't have a FreeSync or G-Sync monitor and you have tearing, you can definitely go with enable with this, but you will add input lag. So it really depends. Do you care about input lag or not? If you don't care, just go with on and you will remove your tearing. If you care about input lag, you need to disable this. Motion blur, I recommend to go with disable. It will help you a lot with your image visibility and it will not boost your FPS. It's just like a visibility thing. And DirectX version, I recommend to go with DirectX 11. This is pretty much it's the basic rendering system for this game. It will be good for your FPS, for the stability of your game. So just go with this one. So this is pretty much it for the PUBG guide for 2022. If you have any question, just come in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.